Oh, we are live! How are we, lads? Come on, the footy! The footy's back! Guys, subscribe to the channel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah! The Cowboys win it! Woo! Yes, and the footy is back. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Welcome to the NRL Round 1 tips for season 2022. And I could not be in a better mood. The footy's back. The team lists are out. It's going to be one hell of a round. So I expect everyone to go broke over the weekend for same game multis. What a weekend it's going to be. The NRL is back, and I hope everyone is hyped around here. I am fucking excited. I apologize if people don't want to hear swearing and shit like that. But listen, the fucking footy's back. I can't be any more fucking happier. I'm in the best mood right now. The footy's back. Get ready for the same game multis this weekend. First try scorers. Margin, same game multis, you name it. The footy's back, and I don't think anything in this world could be better right now than the footy is back. And shout out to everyone in the live chat. I hope everyone's doing extremely well. Hello to the Bundy chick. G'day to Josh Plays Cricket. CJ Moxley's here. Bandit, Piripi's here as well. We got Jared, Jason Reader in the live chat. How you going, Jace? Hope you're well, mates. Everyone's rolling in now as we speak. The chat will get bigger and bigger as the show goes on. We've got Faraz in the live chat. How you going, Faraz? But, yeah, before I get into my round 1 tips, lads, make sure you go ahead and enjoy the live stream. Like the live stream. Hit the like button. Smash it with your headbutt it if you have to. I don't care. Like the live stream. If you missed the live stream, when you're rewatching this video, like the video. Comment your tips in the comment section below or in the live chat, depending on when you're watching the video. This is going to be a fantastic round. Round 1, always unpredictable and very hard to pick. Some games look one-sided, but you just never know. The NRL, it's very unpredictable. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 1. Let's get into it, and it all kicks off on Thursday night, lads. At 8:05 p.m. New South Wales time, it is the Penrith Panthers up against the Manly Warringah Seagulls. This game is being played out at Penrith there at Bluebet Stadium. Thursday night, 8:05 kickoff. The Panthers versus the Seagulls. Manly, they are favourites here at $1.85. Penrith at $1.95. Obviously, the big news broke today. The Panthers halfback, Nathan Cleary, will not be playing in round 1. He will not be back. He will be out for the first 3 rounds. So, massive loss for Penrith. Nathan Cleary is a big out for the Panthers. Coming in for Nathan Cleary is the Panthers halfback, Sean O'Sullivan. Sean O'Sullivan's a decent little halfback. He'll do a job, but he is no Nathan Cleary. So, it's going to be very interesting to see how the Panthers go without him. Everything else remains the same pretty much on both sides. Isaac Tago will play in the centres for Penrith. As for Manly, Olakau'atu was meant to be out for the first couple of rounds, but he is named to play. So we'll see if that does go ahead. Olakau'atu would be a massive inclusion. We'll see if he does play. The Penrith bench remains the same from last year, as does Manly, except they've got this young Koala kid who's a centre. He's on the bench as well. He might come on and play a little bit dummy half. Who knows? It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. And obviously no Dylan Walker. I believe he's out with an injury. So Penrith versus Manly, this is obviously the game of the round, I believe. I believe this is the game of the round. It's a blockbuster game. You've got the reigning, defending premiers up against last year's preliminary finalist Manly. Turbo, obviously the best player in the world, the reigning Dally medalist. This is going to be a great game. My tip for the game, lads, I am tipping Manly to win this. I'm going to go Manly by 10. I think Manly will win. I think Nathan Cleary is a big loss for Penrith. I don't know where the Panthers' points are going to come from without Nathan Cleary. We all saw last year Jerome Luai really struggled without Nathan Cleary, and I just feel Manly at the moment, they look a bit more, they look a bit fitter. They don't have as many injuries as the Panthers. So obviously, Schuster's a big blow for Manly, but Cleary's the big one for Penrith. That's not there. So I'm going to go Manly to win by 10. I'm going to go with a scoreline of 22 points to 12 in favour of Manly. I'm going to go 22-12 Manly. And I'm going to go first try scorer. I'm going to go Jason Sub to be the first try scorer. And anytime try scorer, I'm going to go with Tom Trbojevic. Manly to win by 10 on the Thursday night. Should be a cracker. Now let's go to Friday night football. The first game kicking off at 6 p.m. down there at GIO Stadium in Canberra. It is the Canberra Raiders up against the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. Now the odds for the game here, as you can see on the screen, Sharks $1.85. Canberra $1.95, same as the first game. Now, obviously, Canberra, big blow. Jamal Fogarty was their big off-season recruit in the halves. Jack Whiten is out for the first 4 months or so massive blow for Canberra. The young Brad Schneider comes in to halfback, so we'll see how the young rookie goes with Jack Whiten at 5'8". Also, Jared Croker has been overlooked. They've got a young kid by the name of James Schiller coming into the centre, so we'll see how he goes. Obviously, Rapin is suspended, so he's not there as well. Also for Canberra, Elliot Whitehead moves to lock, which is going to be quite interesting. Ryan Sutton's been dropped, so Elliot Whitehead goes to lock with Hudson Young and Corey Harawira-Naidoo in the back row. Everything else for Canberra pretty much remains the same. Obviously, Adam Elliott making his debut off the bench for the Green Machine. For Cronulla, Ronaldo Malatala goes to the centres, as I've been saying all off-season. Looking forward to seeing how Ronaldo Malatala goes in the centres this year. Moylan at 5'8", Nico Hines at halfback. That'll be interesting. Rudolph and Hamlin Urelli up front. Dale Finucane, another off-season pickup. He goes to lock for the Sharks. The Sharks bench is massive as well with Talakai, Royce Hunt, and Andrew Fafita. Some big forwards there for the Sharks. This is going to be an interesting game, this one. Canberra v Cronulla. Tough one to pick, I reckon. Everyone's having trouble picking this, but for me, I reckon the Sharks win this. I think Canberra are going to struggle without an organising halfback. Putting a lot of faith in a young rookie. I would have went with Sam Williams, to be honest with you, the first game, or even Matt Frawley. Going with a young halfback named Brad Schneider. We'll see how he goes, but I'm going to go the Sharks here. I'm going to go the Sharks by 12. I think the Sharks will be a little bit too good. I don't think they'll win easy. I think it'll be a close game for a while, then I think the Sharks will score a couple late tries to seal the game. So I'm going to go the Sharks by 12. High-scoring game too, fellas. I'm going to go with a scoreline of Cronulla 28, Canberra 18. First try scorer, I'm going to go with Sigani Katoa on the wing. And anytime try scorer, I'm going to throw in Nico Hines to score in the halves. I reckon Nico Hines will bag a try. Sharks to win by 10 on the first game there on the Friday night. Let's go to the next one. The big one, isn't it? The big one. It's the Adam Reynolds Cup, but Adam Reynolds is not friggin' playing. It is Friday night, 8 o'clock. It is the Broncos versus the Rabbitohs up there at Suncorp Stadium. The odds for the game here, South Sydney $1.30, Brisbane $3.75. Interesting game, this one. South's obviously made the grand final last year. Brisbane were in the bottom 4. Big game, this one. So the Broncos, I've got a few drummers at the moment. A few players have got COVID, so it's been a bit of a reshuffle for the Broncos to start the year. Not the ideal start that they would like, especially up there at Suncorp Stadium. So the Broncos have decided to go with Jermaine Sako at fullback, which I find quite interesting. Selwyn Cobbo getting his spot on the wing. Walters and Kelly are in the halves. I don't mind Albert Kelly at halfback. Don't know about Billy Walters. Palacea getting a start in the front row, which is quite interesting as well. Obviously, Capewell and Haas are there, and everything else is the same. And on the bench, Tyrone Roberts getting a run, which is also very interesting as well. Ryan James making his club debut for the Broncos. As for the Bunnies, it's what you expect, don't it? Obviously, no Latrell Mitchell, so Taff at fullback, and Jackson Paulo making his way into the centres. Walker Ilias in the halves. Everything else is pretty similar. Jairo in the back row will be interesting. And obviously, Michael Cheekham and Harvilli making their club debuts for the Bunnies. But look, with Adam Reynolds not being fit, obviously having COVID and not being able to play, and obviously Kobe Hamilton not playing as well, and I've got a few others that are 50-50. I think Souths win this game on Friday night, and you know what? I reckon Souths win well. I'm sorry, Broncos fans up there at Suncorp, but I just can't see Brisbane winning without Adam Reynolds. I think they're a bit weaker. Souths seem to have things set in place. They look a bit more organised than the Broncos. So, look, I think Souths win, and I reckon they're going to win well. So, I'm going to go Souths by 20 on Friday night. I'm going to go with a scoreline of Rabbitohs. Let's go with a scoreline of the Rabbitohs, 26 points to 6. I think they'll be far too good. I just don't see where Brisbane's attack's going to come from. They're going to struggle to score points in this one. So, I'm going to go Brisbane, 26 points to 6. First try scorer, I'm going to go pretty safe here. I'm going to go Alex Johnson, first try scorer. Anytime try scorer, I'm going to go a bit of a roughie. I reckon Jai Arrow against the Broncos. Jai Arrow used to play for the Broncos. I reckon Jai Arrow can score any time. So I'm going to go Souths by 20. And I just can't see Brisbane winning without Adam Reynolds. I don't know where the points are going to come from. The Souths will win by 20 on the Friday night. Now, let's get into Super Saturday. You got to love Super Saturday, lads. And the first game is kicking off at 3 p.m. It is the Sydney Roosters up against the Newcastle Knights. The Roosters are short price favourites here at $1.20. Newcastle at $4.50. Very, very big odds there for the Newcastle Knights. The Roosters, last year, obviously, they had a lot of injuries. They pretty much had the B team in last year, and they made it all the way to the semi-finals. Newcastle, they made it to week 1 of the finals last year and went out the first round. They've done that the last 2 seasons. The Roosters, they're so stacked, aren't they? Tedesco's there, Joseph Manu in the centres. Young Billy Smith is back as well, so it'd be good to see him back again. Paul Momorowski from Penrith goes back to the Roosters. He'll be on the right wing, so it'll be interesting as well. Luke Keary returns. Walker and Keary. If they gel straight away, it could be a very nice combination. Connor Watson starting at hooker for the Roosters up against his former side. Collins in the front row. He's back from injury as well. Also on the bench, Takiyaho, Butcher, Baker. Hutchison will be that. He'll come on and play a bit of dummy half as well, from what I understand. Newcastle, couple of big outs for Newcastle. Daniel Saifiti, massive blow. Hummel Hunt apparently not fit enough to play. That's a big loss, I reckon. He was good last year, Hummel Hunt. He's a big blow, I reckon. Dominic Young getting a chance on the wing as well. Clifford and Clune look good in the trials, but it's only the trials. Kurt Mann at lock. I don't like that one bit. Fitzgibbon in the back row over Barnett. What are they thinking? I've heard a lot about this young Leo Thompson kid, so keep an eye on him. But look, I think this is going to be one-way traffic, fellas. I think the Roosters win this, and I reckon they're going to win this game really well. I can't see Newcastle scoring more than 12 points. So I'm going to go the Roosters. I'm going to go the Roosters by 28 points, I reckon. So I'm going to go with the scoreline of the Roosters to win. I'm going to go 36 points to 8. I reckon the Roosters will have a really big win here. Roosters to win 36 points to 8. I'm going to go first try scorer. I'm going to go with a bit of a roughie. I'm going to go Satili Tupanil to be the first try scorer. Anytime try scorer, Connor Watson against his former team. Roosters to win by 28 points on Saturday afternoon. Now let's go to the next game of the round, which is Saturday night at 5:30 p.m. up there at Sunshine Coast Stadium. It is the New Zealand Warriors up against the St. George Illawarra Dragons up there at the beautiful Sunshine Coast Stadium. The odds for the game here, both teams are even money bet here, $1.90 each. Even money from the Warriors and the Dragons. Interesting game, this one. So a couple of crazy changes here from both sides. The Warriors, obviously Reece Walsh suspended, so Chanel Harris-Tavita at fullback. I do not know how that's going to go. You've played about 10 minutes there in the played 10 minutes there in the All-Star game, and it was quite strange. And that obviously Viliami Villia in the centres, Nicarima in the halves with Sean Johnson, Bunty Afoa starting in the front row. I don't know about that one. That's a really strange decision there. Ewan Aiken in the back row. Like I said, I think he's better off in the centres. Curran at lock. He's a back row, for God's sakes. The Warriors don't even have the Warriors have one prop on the bench, and that's Aaron Penne. Manok Masilla's not a front row, so I don't play him there, for God's sakes. I don't know what the Warriors are doing with this team. I think it's very, very ordinary. Gee whiz. Jack Mercy's not even getting a run either. I would have had Mercy over Bailey Suridan. As for the Dragons, well, it's pretty similar to the team that they named in the Charity Shield, isn't it? The back line looks good. It's the same. The halves are the same. I like Jack Bird in the back row. And that left edge, I think it looks very good out there. Also on the bench, you've got someone like Mbai who can play any position. You've got Molo and Curl coming off the bench to the front row. Jack Tajeski as well. And the Dragons didn't even pick Tarek Sims or George Burgess. So it's crazy to think that the Dragons have so much depth in the forwards. Look, I think this is going to be an interesting game. But look, I'm going to piss people off by saying this. If you're a Warriors fan, you might want to turn away right now. I reckon the Dragons are the absolute specials of the weekend. I reckon the Dragons are going to have a very, very big win here. I can't see the Warriors winning with the team that they have named. I think their forward pack outside of Fanil Blake and Josh Curran and Katoa looks a bit weak. I think their bench is a bit all over the shop as well. I don't like how they've got Murdoch Masila coming on and playing in the front row. I reckon the Dragons win this, and I reckon they're going to have a huge win. I reckon the Dragons win this game by, I'm going to say the Dragons by 24 points. I reckon the Dragons are the specials of the weekend. I reckon the Dragons win extremely well, fellas. I'm going to go the Dragons 36 points to 12. I think the Dragons are going to have the biggest win on the weekend. I just can't see the Warriors winning. They've got too many players. Hasselbetter at fullback is a liability. This Viliami Valamate kid's going to be very interesting. The Dragons look like they've got everything set in stone and they've got the right balance here. As you guys saw my predictions, I can't see the Warriors doing anything this year. So I'm going to go the Dragons by 24 points. I'm going to go the Dragons 36 points to 12. I'm going to go first try scorer to be Zach Lomax. Anytime try scorer. I reckon Jack Bird will score anytime as well. Dragons to win by 24 points. They'll have a massive win on the weekend. Now let's go to the next game, which is Saturday night. I believe it's 7:35, and it is Saturday night, 7:35 at CommBank Stadium. It is the West Tigers up against the Melbourne Storm. Melbourne Storm are favourites here at $1.25. West Tigers at $4. Crazy odds there for the West Tigers. $4 for the Tigers. Very interesting odds there. With this game, obviously Melbourne look a bit weaker at the moment. Obviously Munster's not there, so Nick Mennie to 5'8". I don't know how that's going to go. That's going to be quite interesting as well. I think you'll see Pappenhausen will play 6 and Mennie will play fullback. They'll probably switch that around. Having a look at the Tigers team, obviously they've got Laurie, Nofaluma, Roberts, Gildart, Mamalo. Roberts is a good player, don't get me wrong, but defensively, James Roberts is a massive liability. I don't know how Jimmy the Jet will go in the centres. That's going to be extremely interesting as well. Twal and Stefano up front's not bad. Simpkin at hooker is all right. Tulangi, Leilu in the back row is actually a good move from the Tigers. Offering Gowie starting at lock over Peachy. I don't get that. Garner, Musgrove, and Alex Seyfarth. Gee, it's a weak bench. And I look at Melbourne. Gee, they look good, don't they? Pappenhausen's there. They've got Xavier Coates making his debut for Melbourne, playing with Olam. Smith is there as well in the centres, and the forward pack as well. You've got Jesse Bromwich, Brendan Smith, Welsh, Kafusi, Bromwich, Josh King starting at lock. Nelson off the bench as well is looking very good as well. Look, I think the Tigers will be competitive for a while, but I think Melbourne will end up running over them in the end. So I'm going to go Melbourne here. Melbourne by 16 points. I reckon Tigers will be in this game, but I think the Melbourne Storm juggernaut will run over them in the end, maybe in the last 10 minutes or so. So I'm going to go the Melbourne Storm by 16 points. I'm going to go with a scoreline of, let's go 24 points to 8 in favour of the Melbourne Storm. I'll go 24-8 Melbourne. I reckon first try scorer. Let's go for Ruffy. First try scorer. Let's go with Kenny Bromwich to score the first try of the game. And anytime try scorer, I'm going to go bold here. Jackson Hastings in his debut for the Tigers. Hastings will score, but Melbourne will win the game by about 16 points. Melbourne will beat the Tigers by 16 points on Saturday night. Let's go to Sunday afternoon footy now, and it all kicks off at 4:05 p.m. in the afternoon at CommBank Stadium, which is also known as Bank West or Western Sydney Stadium, whatever you want to call it, out there at Parramatta. The Parramatta Eels versus the Gold Coast Titans. Parramatta, $1.45 favourites here. The Gold Coast at $2.75. Parramatta, I've named a pretty good side here. The back line is pretty much what you expect it to be. Gufferson, Sean Russell, Penasini, Wagga Blake, Simonson. Halves are the same as last year, and Brown and Moses. RCG, Paulo up front. Marnie's back as well. Lane and Papali'i in the back row. Madison at 13 is going to be very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. And on the bench, Makatoa is a good impact play. Oregon Kafusi's not bad as well. Jacob Arthard, I don't know how he makes way into the side. And Ray Stone. Interesting to see Nathan Brown not in the side. He's obviously in the reserves. As for the Gold Coast Titans, Decent backline on paper, isn't it? Jaden Campbell, really exciting player. Philip Summy and Thompson on the wings. Kelly and Herbert in the centres. Now the halves. My biggest concern of the Titans is the halves. AJ Brimson at 6. Toby Sexton at 7. I don't know if these guys are going to be able to gel and win these big games early on. When you play Parramatta at CommBank, it's like a finals game. It really is. It's like a big game. The Titans fullback looks good as well. Fodawaker, Isaac Liu, Fafita, Fermor, and Tino. I think Tino should be in the front row. Isaac Liu should be at lock. The bench for the Titans is good. I would argue the Titans bench is better than the Eels bench. I think Sam Lasone and Jamin Jolliffe are good impact front rowers. Proctor coming on for a bit of experience. Will Smith will come on and play a bit of hooker for Aaron Clark at some point, from what I understand. This game's got potential to be a good one. I think it will be a decent sort of game, but I think Parramatta win by about 14 points. I think the Eels will end up getting the Titans. I don't think Parramatta will win by 30 or 20. I think the Titans will be in this game for a while, but I just feel at CommBank Stadium, Parramatta will just be a little bit too good. So I'm going to go Parramatta by 14 points. I'm going to go with a scoreline of Parramatta 26 points to 12. I reckon first try scorer with the Eels left winger Sean Russell. Anytime try scorer. I'm going to throw in, I reckon Mitchell Moses can score a try for the Eels. I reckon Moses anytime. But Parramatta to beat the Titans by 14 points on Sunday afternoon. Now let's go to the final game of the round, which is Sunday night, 6:15 p.m. here in New South Wales. It is my team, the North Queensland Cowboys, up against the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. This game is being played up at Queensland Country Bank Stadium, 6:15 kickoff. The Cowboys, they are favourites. Actually, no, they're not. It's $1.90 each. Cowboys $1.90, Bulldogs $1.90 up there in Townsville. This will be a very interesting game. God knows which way this game will go. Now, having a look at the Cowboys team, they have named the Hammer at fullback, Kyle Feld and Talangi on the wings, Holmes and Hiku in the centres. Halves, they've gone with Didden and Townsend in the halves for round one. The fullback's a little bit different to what I thought it would be. Tanua Brown and Cohen S in the front row. I'm a little bit surprised about Tanua Brown. Robson at hooker. Lukey and Jeremiah Nanai in the back row. Tamalolo at lock. Bench. Cotter, McLean, Dunn, Gilbert. Not bad. Disappointed about Drinkwater not getting a run, and I honestly thought Griffin Neem would get a run over Mitch Dunn, but Todd Payton's got his ideas. And as for the Dogs, well, the Dogs have got about 8 or 9 guys on debut for the Dogs, so they've all got a gel, which is going to be quite interesting as well. The Cowboys have only got Peter Hiku, Chad Townsend, Tanua Brown, all making their club debut. Everyone else has played their last year, so everyone else knows each other inside and out. As for the Dogs, obviously Ockenball on the wing, which is a very, very interesting selection from the Dogs. Averillo at halfback. I don't know how that's going to go. That's going to be quite interesting. Thompson, Vaughan in the front row. Heverington in the back row. Do not like it one bit. Pangai Jr. in the back row. Is he going to get the ball? That's my only concern about Pangai Jr. in the back row. And on the bench, I've got Max King and Waddell, Bailey behind the audio as well. And look, I think the Cowboys are a good chance here. And look, you're going to call me biased, but up there in Townsville, first game of the season, should be a big crowd in. Cowboys seem to have their team set, ready to go. Bulldogs seem to not really know what they're doing with their team. I sort of don't know who the halfback is. Is it going to be Averillo? They don't know what their combinations are going to be. They're still working stuff out. Cowboys look to have things set in stone by the looks of things here, but I reckon the Cowboys will beat the Bulldogs on Sunday night. I'm going to go the Cowboys by 8. I reckon it'll be a good game. I reckon the Cowboys can win. Also, another stat for you guys out there who love stats. Cowboys have won their last 3 against Canterbury as well. So, look, I reckon the Cowboys by 8. I'm going to go with a scoreline of the Cowboys. Let's go 26 points to 18. Cowboys to win 26 points to 18. First try scorer, I'm going to go Kyle Felt, first try scorer. Anytime try scorer, I'm going to go with Murray Tulangi to score a try at any time. Cowboys to beat the Bulldogs by 8 points on Sunday night. But, lads, that is my round 1 tips set in stone. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. In case you're not sure who I tipped, what I did for round 1, I have selected. So I'll go through with these real quick. I tipped the Seagulls 1-12, the Sharks 1-12, Rabbitohs 13+, Roosters 13 plus, Dragons 13 plus, Storm 13 plus, Eels 13 plus, and the Cowboys 1 to 12. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching my round 1 tips. The footy is back, and I'll see you all in the next one. Oh, yeah, and before I go, the footy's back! See you later. Go the Cowboys.